said that he was going to blow up the studios where I work at 6 o'clock as we went on air. There's a countdown from 10, and we did not know what we were counting down to. In the 15 years that I was a journalist, I was stalked 3 times. Some bloke that I'd never met before infiltrated my life and changed everything. It's a crime which is variously described as psychological terrorism, psychological rape. I think for me, still in retrospect, what makes me feel still quite angry is the bomb threat. And the security in our organisation and the police were so convinced that this could happen that they offered my colleagues the opportunity to go home. Sitting in that seat, the news seat, there is always a moment when there's a countdown from 10 until you're on air. And we did not know what we were counting down to. I think I believed, and the police believed, it was a race against time between them getting him and him getting me. We had extra police drive-bys. The house was rigged up to the local major police station. I would check the back seat of my car before I got in the car. I'd always be looking at the person driving behind me. I wouldn't close the curtains in my house without looking away because it was omnipresent, just waiting to do all the things that he'd said to do to me. There was no chance at that time of me running away from any kind of attacker because I was nearly 9 months pregnant. I remember really, really clearly the day that I got a call from my police officer to say that a man had been arrested and that they weren't looking for anyone else in connection with my case. And I walked around my house for the first time. Outside, in the dark, on my own. A house I owned. It was the first time, and I was safe. So, when I first heard about the Home Office Enough campaign, I thought, that's a little bit of genius, because that's what I felt, right? So in those moments when I felt that all my power had been taken away from me, I remember there was a moment of choice for me when I just said, enough. And suddenly here we are today, and we're having these conversations, and I look back and I tell you about things that have happened in my lifetime that you can't believe. And I realise that things have changed. And they have changed permanently and irreversibly for the better. Seriously, 12, 15 years ago, people were still making jokes about stalkers. You know, there'd be cards saying, "Oh, I'm your stalker." There's been action from a societal point of view. There's been action from victims speaking out. There have been people who are within the criminal justice system talking about this robustly. And there have been changes in the law. The collective, all of us working together, is the way that these things are going to change. And encouraging people to come out of the shadows. We think that somehow it is our shame, that we've deserved it. You have not. This is not your shame.